welcome back to the channel. So as you can see here, this is the Batman costume I made several years ago. And this was kind of my own pattern, and I kind of wanted to use something similar for the alien torso. Now in hindsight, I could have used the samurai armor that I made, at least the chest part, and it probably would have been a little simpler. But I went with my pattern that I had used for Batman. So first thing you want to do is go to Harbor Freight or any hardware store and pick up an anti-fatigue roll mat. Or you can pick up cosplay foam, it doesn't matter. So what I did is on this roll mat is I cut out about a 2-foot section and just got it to where I could put my pattern pieces on it. So your pattern pieces, if you use something similar to what I did, you're going to mark out one side, flip your patterns over, and trace them out. And that gives you both your left and right side, as you can see here. So once you get your pieces cut out, you're simply going to take a heat gun. Now a hair dryer will not do it. Go buy yourself a heat gun and just be careful. But you heat up your foam, and this is how you're going to put in your curve shapes. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. It doesn't take much. I usually heat up my pieces maybe about 10 to 15 seconds, and I heat up the front and the back. And then I just stretch it. I just kind of make it the shape I want. These EVA floor mats that you can buy, especially the roll ones, they're pretty easy to heat up and bend into shape. So again, I'm using my patterns that I use for my Batman costume. Now in hindsight, and I want to tell you guys this, you can make this simpler. You can just take your roll foam, and basically all you need is from the top of your chest down to your stomach, below your belly button, and it can be one piece. It doesn't have to be what you see here. Now for mine, I wanted the stomach area cut out. So this piece, you just get a like Hobby Lobby, and you can see it's a lot thinner than the roll mat. And that's what you want. So I just kind of traced out my stomach area. And I did, when I drew it onto the foam, I made it a little bit bigger just because I wanted an area to glue to the back side of my foam. And so we're just going to use contact cement, kind of like we did on the alien head, and wear a mask. Now if your area is well ventilated, if you can open your windows and your doors, you should be good. But wear a mask if you're worried, because these fumes can be flammable and can be pretty much toxic. So all I'm doing is just putting glue on both edges that are going to glue together. And you're going to let that set anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. So when you put your pieces together, again, just start at one edge and just work your way to the other edge. Now if you do decide to go with like the samurai kind of chest piece that I was showing you earlier, which will work just fine for this, you can pretty much bypass all of this. Because all you're really needing is a piece to cover from your chest below your stomach and then your back. Because it's all going to be in the detail work anyway. Now if you do decide to try and do something like what I'm doing here, there are a lot of good sites on YouTube that give you free patterns. I'm going to try my best to give you guys this pattern. Hopefully it'll work. I have never done it before, so I'm going to try my best to give you guys a free pattern, if you will, just to make your life a little easier, because that's what I'm all about. But anyway, so here's kind of the chest piece. And here I'm just gluing in that cutout stomach area. And all I did was just put glue on the back side of the chest piece and on the front of the ab. So here's the back piece. It's a pretty simple piece. Again, this is what I use for my Batman costume. And again, just cut them out with a razor knife. Be careful. Just take your time. And then again, you're just going to add glue to the two edges that are going to glue together. Wait about 10 to 12 minutes, and then just put everything together. And again, just take your time. And if your seams don't come out perfect, don't worry about it, because you can sand them later, fill them in with some air dry foam clay, they'll be fine. So here, I'm just connecting the front and the back. Now this is something I've done for quite a while. On any of my seams that I use EVA foam for, I always add a little bit of super glue. It just kind of makes it so it's a little more secure and it's never going to come apart. I still have my Batman costume from like 5 years ago. But there's pretty much your chest rig, or your torso, if you will. So here you can see me trying it on. And I'm just kind of seeing how it's going to fit. So the little tabs you see me there, we're going to add some Velcro like you see here. Now this is just sticky back Velcro, but again, add some super glue. It just makes it a little more secure. Just around the edge of your Velcro piece. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, you can make this simpler. You do not have to do what I'm doing here. It can be one solid piece of foam. So now we're going to start adding the details. So these are the shoulder pieces. And I just kind of made my own pattern. I wanted them to stick up a little high. So I took a piece of paper and just kind of checked and measured around the top of the shoulders, and then I just cut out a piece and glued it on. Now your legs. This is something I want you guys to try. So what I did here, my wife helped me. We wrapped my legs from above the knee down in plastic wrap, and then basically put duct tape around it and cut it off and just made a pattern. These are going to make your back pipes. And I had seen some other people do this, and I thought, I want to try this and just see how it looks. So again, once you get your pattern, you're just going to mark it one side and the other on your foam, cut it out, and then you're going to heat form it. And again, I heat up the back and the front. Now be careful, if you hold your heat gun in one area too long, you will burn your foam. So just keep it moving. And again, just stretch it till you get a round shape. Now it's going to look like it's not going to go together, and I guarantee you that it will. So again, we're just using contact cement. And just make sure you put glue on both edges. Now these pieces are not your full leg, so just about 2 to 3 inches above your knee to just above your ankle is all you want when you make this pattern. And again, take your time and just push it together. And again, you don't want to try to glue this until you've let your glue set about 10 to 12 minutes, because otherwise you're just going to have a sticky cobweb mess. So yeah, you can kind of see my leg. Yep, there's my leg. And we're just going to glue these pieces onto the back of the chest piece. So you're going to have 4 of these. So you need to make 3 more besides the one you just made. So here I've already put 3 onto the back. And you're going to see me glue on the 4th one here. And you want these, when you glue them on, make sure that the ankle area of your pattern, if you will, is kind of pointing to the sky, because that kind of gives that unique shape that the alien has on his back. And you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. Basically, you just want these pieces to angle up, kind of toward the head. And once you get these pieces glued on, again, I would take some super glue and just go around the edge. It'll just make a more permanent bond. But yeah, there you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So here I'm going to kind of show you how it looks. And if you're wondering about the little gap about right at my shoulder, I just hadn't pulled the chest rig down. So I was like a little kid. I wanted to try it and really see how these look. So it's pretty stoked because they really did come out well. So now we're going to start adding the detail pieces. So all this is foam pipe insulation that you can get at the hardware store. So those shoulder areas, I wanted to give them a little more detail. Now this insulation that you get at the hardware store is pre-split, but what you're going to do is find that split, and then you're going to cut the other side lengthwise. Now don't go too far with your razor knife because this stuff cuts really easy. Now I did cut them a little bit longer because I wanted the end pieces to actually glue on slightly below those shoulder pauldrons, if you will, just to give it a little more organic look. And again, you're just going to use contact cement. And all I did here was just kind of trim up the ends a little bit so that they're not so flat or squared off, if you will. Again, just use contact cement. And you want to apply it to the top of the shoulder area, slightly below, and then just on the middle concave portion of your pipe insulation. Again, let it set up about 10 to 12 minutes. And then you'll just put them on. You'll see here in just a second. But this pipe insulation, it's really light, so it's not going to add a lot of weight to your costume. And if you guys have never done any type of EVA cosplay foam armor, I did the Comic-Con here a couple of years ago, and yeah, my costume, it was got pretty hot. And in hindsight, I could have made it a lot different, kind of like I'm doing here, make it a lot lighter, not so much the heavy EVA foam. So here we're just going to add a piece down the middle of the chest. And you guys can do what I'm doing, or you can do yours any way you want. Because the details really are up to you. Now, if you noticed, at the neck area, I did leave it extended. And what we're doing there is we're just kind of giving the illusion of a neck that kind of has some pipe areas. So there I'm just adding the ribs. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, but it's already kind of starting to take on that alien shape. So I decided I wanted to add kind of an insect stomach. So I just made a crease down the middle with my thumbnail. And then I just kind of cut out some ab shapes, if you will. And just using contact cement, I just put them on. And if one of them's not to your liking, you can always trim it before you put it on. Kind of like I did there. So I'm just adding a few more pieces to the neck area just because I want that raised area. Now these backer rods, again, you can get these at the hardware store. They're usually over kind of around the window section. And you can get different sizes of these. Now this one I believe was 5/8. And I just wanted to give a little more detail to the chest piece. And again, just use contact cement. And I did add another piece to the ab area, as you saw there, a little triangle piece. I just wanted it to extend down a little more. But this backer rod was actually, I believe, a 1/4 inch or maybe a 1/2 inch, but it was smaller than the one I just put on. And I just thought it would add a little more dimension. So that's kind of where we're at. And here's those extended pieces around the front of the neck. And there you can kind of see the backer rods on the ab area. Now this is totally up to you. You don't have to use the air dry foam clay. But I just really kind of want to, especially that center piece, I wanted to give it a little more dimension. And you'll kind of see what I did here. Nothing fancy. Just kind of make a square shape, mash it in. So I did add a few things kind of in the ab area, as you can see here. But yeah, we're ready to paint. So painting, didn't go in a lot of detail. 2 coats of plastic dip and 4 coats of gloss black. That's it. No detail painting. And here's the completed project. I absolutely thought this came out great. Especially just kind of figuring out a lot of it as I went along. But yeah. So really enjoyed making this one. And again, your chest piece, you do not have to use a fancy Batman thing, if you will. You can just make up your own if you want. You just need something to cover your chest, cover your back, and have some straps over the shoulder. The rest of it, you'll just do it like I did here. So, yeah, really liked how this came out. Thank you for watching, and coming soon, we got the arms, legs, the hands, feet, the tail. Appreciate you guys.